Good afternoon, San Diego. Thanks for joining us here on CBS 8 Plus. We've got a pretty big storm heading our way. I'm meteorologist Sean Stiles, and I'll try to get you up to date and tell you what you need to look forward to, or in this case, not look forward to, because if all comes together, this storm could be very, very powerful. You know what they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Plan for the worst, hope for the best. That's what we're going to be doing here. We're seeing a few upper level clouds starting to drift into Southern California. The storm activity is well to the north of us. It's going to be at least another, say, 7 to 10, 12 hours before we start to see rain, even in our North County. Looking at the Doppler radar, there is some return sitting offshore, but this is not making its way into San Diego. Here's what's happening with this moisture is it's all moving from the south to the north. So it's not like it's approaching and coming in from the west. It will continue to do that until the area of low pressure, which is a long ways out in the Pacific, makes its way into Southern California. So you can see this plume of moisture that is just riding up along this atmospheric river, and it is already bringing some light showers into the Los Angeles area, but nothing of any major consequence. We're talking about, maybe a tenth of an inch over the next couple hours up there. The real rain will be coming in overnight into tomorrow morning. The National Weather Service has issued a flood watch for all of San Diego County. Small craft advisory offshore because of the strong southerly winds. The flood watch is in place until Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. So we're talking about a very potent storm bringing in lots and lots of moisture. If it all materializes. At this point, we think it's going to do that. We also have a wind advisory on the coastline for those strong southerly winds. We're seeing the winds out there 15, 20, 25, even gusting to 35 miles per hour. Here's a look at the rainfall totals. And notice as you look at the North County, there is a whole lot more rain there than Mount Laguna. And you're saying, well, wait, how can that be? Mount Laguna is only going to get a tenth of an inch by Monday morning, Monday afternoon, Monday evening. That's because this plume of moisture, as I said, is coming from the south and going almost due north. So the front is slowly but surely chugging along, and as it moves along, the atmospheric river is getting pumped up ahead of that. And that's why we're seeing the heavy rain in the North County all the way down into the Carlsbad area. It takes a long time for this front to move through, but ahead of it is the atmospheric river as it continues to march along. Now, eventually, the entire atmospheric river covers all of San Diego as it works its way through on Wednesday. That's why we think that the North County will see the lion's share of this, but then eventually into the East County, Ramona almost 4 inches, Palomar Mountain nearly 3.5+ inches of rain. But notice Mount Laguna and Julian, that's a lot of rain, 1.7 inches of rain, 1.5 inches of rain in Mount Laguna. But compared to what's going to be coming along the coastline, I mean, look at these numbers. Oceanside, almost 4 inches. Fallbrook, almost 5 inches. Carlsbad, almost 4 inches. So we're talking about a lot of rain, and that's because it's being delivered through the atmospheric river that is going to be the plume of moisture. It's going to be the carpet that is on the conveyor belt that continues to come in as the area of low pressure is that cog in the wheel, and it spins and spins and pumps the moisture into Southern California. It is a very pleasant afternoon out there. It has been very nice today. A little bit windy, I might say, and we have had some reports of light damage along the coastline because the winds are primarily along the coastal area because of that atmospheric river and the strong area of low pressure. Now centered off Lompoc in the central part of the state. Millibar reading this morning of 975. That is incredibly low for an area of low pressure. Look at this, what a beautiful view. You're thinking, my goodness, it's just, some popcorn clouds rolling on by here in San Diego as we look from Mount Soledad towards the south and east, downtown San Diego off in the distance there. It is 63 degrees. The winds are out of the south-southeast, as we said, very strong, 20 miles per hour at San Diego International Airport. Humidity, 65%. It's just a really pleasant day out there, albeit a little bit windy. a good day to maybe fly a kite, or maybe they're doing some paragliding up in the Torrey Pines area. But I'll tell you what, the storm is very powerful. Here's a look at those winds as the area of low pressure starts to approach. Let me step out of the picture so you can see these much better. This is by just after midnight, 12:30. So the winds steady, 20-30 miles per hour across the county, gusting. It starts to back off just a little bit because the area of low pressure starts to shift and get a little bit closer. And then watch what happens as this area of low pressure comes in. The winds suddenly start to switch and come out of the north as the low pressure gets pretty close. But then by the time we get to, say, Tuesday, now the front is passing over the top of us, and that's the front coming onshore. We see the very strong onshore winds. Now the mountains get some really heavy winds as those winds start to build up over the top. They make their way over the top, and then we continue to see the winds. All right, here's this area of low pressure. It is dynamic and huge. The plume of moisture coming into Southern California. It continues to pump that rain in. The heavier rain will come overnight into Monday morning and eventually come into San Diego. Look how far out in the Pacific this plume of moisture goes. I mean, it's incredible. It just stretches all the way across. Here's the Hawaiian Islands, and there's that plume of moisture. So you can see it's feeding into this huge area of low pressure that continues to build. We'll put this into motion. So by tonight, we'll just start to see a little bit of rain move into San Diego by about midnight. As we get into the mid-morning, the front has now come closer. The plume of moisture has sagged further south, and we're starting to see that train come in on the atmospheric river. This is just a conveyor belt, and the moisture continues to stream in out of the Pacific. The area of low pressure continues to march closer. By the time we get to Tuesday, the dynamics of the storm come across the bight of Southern California and then move over the Sierra Nevada. That's when we could see some thunderstorms, water spouts, maybe a tornado or two. The brunt of this is going to go through the Los Angeles area. Eventually, by Wednesday, we start to see some clouds breaking apart. Moisture starts to get cut off. The atmospheric river exits the area, but then we have another burst of moisture come through as a separate storm, completely different than the atmospheric river, comes through on Friday into Saturday. We see high pressure rebuild back in, and we start to see an improving weather pattern over the weekend. We start to dry out. High pressure strong enough to keep this storm out of our neck of the woods. Here's that plume of moisture, the atmospheric river, charging into Southern California. So by tonight, we could start to see light rain in San Diego, certainly Los Angeles basin, seeing heavy, heavy rain. They could see 4 to 8 inches of rain in the Pasadena area. They're talking about forecast models saying 10 inches. The storm eventually starts to dry out and pull through Southern California. Here's a look at the forecast Doppler radar. And notice how everything comes from the south to the north. That's why it's going to take forever for it to move into the East County. And notice who's getting pounded over and over again. Escondido, Palomar Mountain, Temecula, the Los Angeles basin. It eventually starts to move through the entire part of the county. And then as we get into, say, Tuesday, another band of heavy showers comes through. And that's when we start to see things fall apart and the atmospheric river moves to the east of us, and we start to see the instability. Here's that rain total again, 3+ inches by Monday. As we get into Tuesday and into Wednesday, by the time this thing exits our area, we could see 5 inches of rain in the Fallbrook, Escondido area. There's the thunderstorms that I was talking about on Tuesday as the cold air moves in over the top of this. Water spouts possible, maybe a tornado or two up in the LA area. Wednesday, we stay unsettled. The chance of showers is in the forecast all the way through the work week. There will be times where we have clear skies, and then the rains will come back through. By Saturday and Sunday, we go to partly sunny, partly cloudy. There is some cold air coming in now, and this could drop the snow levels down to 6,000, maybe even 5,500 feet, so we could see some snow in our mountains. In the San Bernardino and San Gabriel mountains, they could see 2+ feet of snow by the time this is all said and done. So a big storm heading our way, atmospheric river. Get prepared now so you don't have any problems, because this potential is out there. There is heavy rain in the forecast, and it looks like Monday into Tuesday is when the brunt of it will come. Stay safe.